I'm super excited to have you join me on my very first episode on the Kusin Ekanem show here on YouTube. I'll be talking about my journey and how to live a victorious life as a Christian divorcee, as a single mom, or even if you're single parenting. So if these are topics that you're interested in, please click and subscribe while we dive into today. Today's first topic, we're talking about something so important to me. It's something I have lived, something I've counseled women with, and a serious challenge and propaganda against single mothers society wise. When you talk about single mothers, when you hear about single mothers, what's the first thing that comes to you? A woman struggling to pay her children's school fees, she can't do a lot of things, or a lady fighting a baby daddy or her ex-husband or the father of her children for school fees, living off the crumbs of society. That's the first thing that comes to your mind when you hear about single motherhood. But I want to say to you right now, before we dive in, that's false. That's a propaganda. And what is propaganda? Propaganda is lies that have been said over and again, so repeated that it is now seen as truth. So single motherhood is not a disability, it is not a disadvantage, and it is not your identity. There was no single mother in the Bible. The Lord never labeled all single mothers. There were mothers and there were fathers. But you see, one of the things that the society have done is to create that label called single motherhood. And what does that label do? It waters down the power, the strength, the virtue of the word mother. A mother is such a powerful figure. She has given birth to generations. She has built legacy. So what does the society do? They add a little single to it, meaning that you're disadvantaged, you're not empowered, you can't do enough things. So if a woman that is training her child alone without a man is a single mother, the one raising the child with her husband, is she now a double mother? No. So one of the things I want to share today, at the end of this episode, you'll be able to understand how to live a victorious life, how to pick up yourself again, no matter how down you are, step by step things I took to get myself to where I am. And I know these are principles that I can work for anyone, because I have worked with over 200 women and I've seen them live victoriously step by step. I myself have come from rock bottom and have been able to build my life step by step. And you watching me right now, with the help of the Lord Jesus, will be able to pick up your life from wherever you are right now and start your life all again. You are not disadvantaged. So as an opening, let me tell you about my story. A few years ago, my marriage crashed completely, rock bottom. I didn't know what to do. I didn't know where to go to. I didn't know where to start from. I had been chased out from where I was living, and I had to get a place outskirts the city of Ibadan in Nigeria. I was living in an environment that was so bushy, and we had snakes as neighbors. I couldn't leave the place because I didn't have any other plan. I had my children, they were not going to school because I could not pay their school fees for them to start. Things were so tough and so hard for me. I couldn't put gas. I couldn't fuel my gas cooker. I couldn't fuel my gas, and I started using coal to cook. And guess what? At a point, I even couldn't pay for charcoal of 200 naira. As at then, if you're converting it to dollars, that's less than 2 cents, literally. I couldn't afford that. And what happened was, that meant that I and my children, we have to eat only early breakfast late breakfast or early dinner, because we would go on to the closest bush and look for some firewood, and we use it to make food stuff. Things were so tough. My soap business wasn't working because the recession, the inflation on prices, and I was always stressed, hustling, going up and down in this place looking for distributors and every other thing you can talk about. And the money from the soap was not enough, because that's all we're using to feed, rent, any other emergency. Does it sound familiar? Yes. And guess what? Of course, no financial child support anywhere was coming. How did I pick up my life? At what point did I decide to pick up my life? My life changed when I had a call from my one of my coach, and she said to me, she said, "Cousin, if money was not an issue, what will you be doing?" And I said to her, if money was not an issue, I would like to teach, I would like to empower. I love being on the platform ministering to women and men of God, and I love to lecture. I like to be in the educational sector. And she said to me, then don't wait for money, start now. Of course, I was excited, I was gingered, I was inspired, I was motivated. Have you gone to a conference before and you return so gingered and motivated, but yet by the time you're coming back, you check your life and the things that have gingered you don't even have the funds, the know-how, or the resources to start to do the things that they asked you to do? Yes, I was in that place. Of course, I wanted to do these things, but I was faced with three challenges. Number one, I had dropped out of school at 400 level. I dropped out of school at 400 level. Yes, I had failed a particular course. I was, those students that are either pregnant or breastfeeding from year one second semester I was married, year two second semester I was pregnant, year three first semester I had a child, the next year four first semester I was pregnant again. Those children, year three second semester I was breastfeeding. Those students that are always like that. That was me. And going to see that I failed this course, I was broken. I was going through a lot financially. I was handling over 60% of the financial responsibility of my home, and this is me seeing this again. I walked out of school. I never took suspension of studies, nothing, and I never even felt I would ever need that certificate. Sincerely, I was like I was going to do big in the soap industry and all that. And see me, 6 years later, reality had hit big time, because my marriage had ended, and within the time I saw my result at final year, I was pregnant, I had said, with my other child, and my husband felt it was just one of those things. Of course, so I left school. Number two, I was in debt, serious debt. I could not even start. I didn't know where to start from. And number three, I didn't even have the finances. As at this time, my own children were not in school. So how am I myself going to go and start school? But you see, when you have a clear desire, number one principle I want you to understand now is that you must have a clear desire, a clear goal of what you want. When you have a clarity of what you want, then God, in conjunction with the universe, will make things to align for that to come to pass for you. 3 weeks later, after I had gotten that call, or almost 2 months later, or a month later, after I had that call with her, I had a call from a friend that I had not spoken with for a while. And I had purpose in my heart that if this is what I was going to do, I would rather take a diploma, and at least have a diploma and build myself up, because leaving a public school for 7 years in Nigeria, federal school, who are you? How did you start from, when you didn't even take suspension of study or anything? And I was not even in that state or geographical location, so it was completely impossible for me, humanly impossible for me, to go back and get a certificate. By the time my friend was coming to talk to me, I told her that I wanted to take a diploma around University of Ibadan to build my academic portfolio again. And then she said to me, have you not heard that there's something called amnesty? I said, what's amnesty? She said, amnesty is that the University of Uyo for the first time in the history of Nigerian university. And when I'm doing this video, they have not been a secondary occurrence. That's why I'm saying, when there is a clear purpose of what you want, the Lord, in conjunction with the universe, will start bringing to pass things that will help you achieve that. And then she said there is amnesty, and they said if you graduated between a certain year and to a certain year and you did not graduate, you should come and pay 35,000 naira, and you can, for each course you failed, and you can rewrite it. And then what I did was that I went back, but by the time she was telling me this, guess what? It had expired. She was telling me this in July. They had opened the portal in November, and I didn't know because I was broken. I was not on social media again, and I could not follow up with what was happening. I told her immediately. I called my friend, whose mother was now in the DVC, and said, please, I need help. She said I should come down. I immediately scrambled the whole resources that I had, went down to the University of Oyo. I'm not going to bore you with some other stories that happened, because I was told I was not qualified for the amnesty. And I said, how am I not qualified for amnesty? They said amnesty is for those that had done carryovers or extra years and they could not complete, and therefore they stopped. But that I did not do it. I just walked out of school. I didn't do suspension. I didn't do anything. And of course, miraculously, I was approved to write the exam. I wrote the exam. On my coming back from the exam, the Lord said to me, it is time to pick a master's form. Of course, I didn't know if that was when they were selling the master's form, or if the master's form was even still on sales. So what did I do? I decided to go to the University of Ibadan to find out when will the master's form be sold, or if it was even on sales. I met a particular man in the office, the postgraduate school of the postgraduate college in the University of Ibadan. I met a man, and I told him everything about it. And when I told him everything about it, I told him that, please, I'm here to make inquiries of this particular form for masters. He told me that they had stopped selling the master's form, and they had even given some persons an admission. I said, okay, that's fine. Please, can you give me your phone number, so that when is the next time when they start paying again the application form, I can now pick the form, and do for myself. So he gave me his number, and of course I took his number. By the time I was getting to the gate of the University of Ibadan, I got a call from him. I picked the call. Hello, sir, what's happening? He said, oh, the school has some department have just brought in requests to the postgraduate school, stating that they are looking for new students, extra students, supplement students. I said, and he said I should come and check if my department are part of the departments that are giving this, that are looking for people. I said, okay. So I went, and of course my department was also looking for students for supplementary. By now, the supplementary form was 26,400. And how was I going to pick that, when, remember, I just written the exam for the course I had failed. I had not even seen my results. Remember, I failed this course 4 years prior to me leaving school. So, and I only had my high school WAEC there to use and apply. I didn't have NYSC. I didn't have any other thing at all. I put a call across to my mom and told her. She said, what do I think? I said, I believe the Lord wants me to pick this form. She said to me, and I quote, we would rather lose 26,400 trusting the Lord than lose the Lord saving 26,400. And she said I should go ahead and pick the form. If I don't get it, she will refund me the money. 26,400 then felt like 2.6 million to me. But of course, I picked the form. and I put in only my passport and my WAEC, because that was the only thing I had. You see, one thing, number two lesson I want you to learn: when the Lord puts something in your heart and you're sure that it says go, you go. It is better you go and fail with the Lord than stand in your own human logic and understanding. I picked it and I put only the WAEC. 2 weeks later, a man called me from my department telling me all manner, why did I not put in my certifications and all that, because they didn't believe I didn't have that. I replied the call by telling him, can I come to your office? And of course, he allowed me come to his office. Apparently, that was the postgraduate coordinator for the university, for my department in the University of Ibadan, Professor A.A. Wodani. And when I went to his office, I shared my story with him, telling him how I left school due to the marital pressure and everything. But I've gone back to school and I've written the exam. By this time, I have still not gotten the result of the exam. And he asked me, did you pass the exam? I said, yes, of course, I passed. When will this result be out? I told him, in the next 1 or 2 months. You and I know that in the Nigerian educational public school, before you will get your transcript and certificates, that is more than 6 months after you've graduated, depending on the school. But who am I to come and dim my light when the Lord has brightened my light? You understand? So of course I told him, yes, the result will soon be out. He said, he breathed in and breathed out and said, I will help you. He stopped his career and gave me an admission for masters with only WAEC. Of course, I passed the exam letter with A. You understand? I passed the exams with an A, and I got to start my masters. My masters was a whole lot. I would leave the home some days because of how far where I was. It was almost another local government. It was another local government because it was Ido local government, and of course I was studying in Ibadan. And I would leave my house some days just having only transport to school, not knowing the transport that will bring me back home. Some days I will be so discouraged because all through the first semester, University of Uyo Senate has not even signed to approve my results. So I had not done clearance. I didn't have reg number, but I will still be going. I would say I was even the assistant course rep. And if you see me in class, I'm there. See, faith is following the Lord till the end, till he crashes till you crash. Then you know that it's the Lord that made you crash. But don't that you're not taking any step and you feel like, oh, I'm not taking any steps and everything is going to work. It doesn't work that way. And of course, I went on to start learning. I told you my business had shut down raw materials, and I said I was going to invest into data analytics because I knew I'm good in mathematics. And I didn't have any money for anybody to teach me SPSS, SQL, or any of those things. I spent more than 48 hours on YouTube. I watched YouTube videos on this topic straight 48 hours that I came out and the sun was hitting my eyes. Sisters, you don't have any excuse. Don't give yourself excuses. And guess what? They will give my colleagues analytics and interpretation or research questions, assignment they give all of us. I didn't do the assignment, but you know what? I'll go and tell them I know the assignment. They should pay me. I can do it for them. The research assignments. And of course, I don't know it, but I know I need to do it for myself. So in my doing it for myself, I will also have to learn more about it, right? Yes. And gradually, people started paying me for it. Within that time, the Lord had laid in my heart that I should go and study abroad for my PhD. Remember, I've not finished masters. The undergraduate result have not even come out. I started doing research on PhD, and I was sharing it with my friends for free. And of course, that's where I've grown to do a full-time business on helping people prepare for scholarships and funding abroad. And I've made most of the money I made from it. And I would like to share that by the time my results came out some weeks ago, I the time you're watching this video, I graduated with a first class in my master's, and I had the highest female CGP in my department. So number 3 principle, God can be trusted. Even when it feels like physically it is impossible, God can be trusted. As you watch this video, I'm also not in Nigeria. I've been able to move. And as time unfolds, I'll be able to tell you my journey and the things that I have been able to do. It is important I tell you and you understand today that your circumstances as a single mom does not define your destiny, and it is not your identity. The Lord never identified you as a single mom. He identified you as his daughter, as a child of a king. So never ever come and say, oh, this is what I am. No, I went from a dropout, broken and struggling, to going back to school, completing the course, getting first class in my master's, and in my currently pursuing a PhD. The society can tell you otherwise. They may label you as a disadvantage, but I want you to know that you're strong, you're resilient, and you're capable of creating wealth, creating a victorious life, and giving your children the kind of life you want. Number 4 principle I want you to take from this video is that you must start to act as the person you want to become. Most of the times we wait until we have become that person, and then we start acting like that person. So let me make an example. One of the goals I had for that year was to save 5 million naira. I have not saved 500k in my entire life for 1 million before. But I said I was going to save, and I was going to save 10% of every money that came to my hands. Sisters, I saved and tithed as if my life depended on it. I saved. Things were so tough that my mom would send us 2,000 naira to buy a crate of egg. Instead of me to buy a crate of egg for 2,000 naira, I'll buy half crate of egg, and I'll save 200, and I'll tithe 200. Guess what? She will send money for a bottle of oil, 1,350. I'll buy half. I saved and tithed. But you see, by the 3rd month, it felt like I only could save about 52,000. What is 52,000 to 5 million? It felt like I was not even making progress. But you see this thing, they say little drop. I said I wanted to be like the kind of person I want, and I started speaking positive. Previous year, if you ask me, how are you, Cousin, I will say, I'm going through a lot. This year, the next year, I started saying, I'm prosperous and I'm abundance. I removed myself from the lot that I was going through. And I see that the more I started behaving like the kind of person I want, for example, I said I was going to read 1 hour a day. How was I going to read 1 hour a day? When I was doing my children, I was doing this, I was still schooling. I started waking up by 4:30 every morning. I'll read between 4:30 to 5:30. 5:30 to 6:30, I've prepared my children, and I will still go to the gym, and I will still take them to school. Or when I was going to school, I won't do gym, I will go to school. It is excuses is the reason why you're not making headway, and it is not because of your ex. Let me tell you something, which is the next principle that I want to tell you. As a single mother, nobody cares about you. No one cares about you apart from the Lord. Literally, no human being. Not your baby father, how do you people call baby daddy, ex-husband, not the father of your children, not even your family per se, not even your friends. They have not talked about you, they have not gossiped you. Nobody cares about you, and nobody can carry your financial burden forever. Nobody can do that. It's only the Lord. So what do? You remove the weight of excuses and put your feet on the ground and start making impact. Learn a skill. take actions. All those things that are in your head, all those ideas you say you will, you're scared of failing. What happens when you fall? You fall and you stand up. But if you don't fall, you won't even grow. Failure is the elementary class towards success. No one has succeeded until they have failed. So failure is part of the prerequisites, part of the requirements for success. So if they say you want to apply, like we that apply for admission, you need international passport, you need this, you need this, you need the first thing you need for success is failure. So why don't you stand up today and go and fail? Go, yeah. Are you saying, sister, are you saying I should stand up and go and fail? Yes, stand up from your bed and fail. Fail this week. Start something and fail at it. Learn from the failure and do it again. Take that steps. And guess what? The more you take the step, you see that you will not fail. I could have stayed in my house saying that who will give me admission into masters with just high school WAEC? But I never could have known until I took the step. God is proud of those that execute. So as you go out today, be executing. What are the principles I want you to take out as we conclude this? I want you to take out the principle of budgeting, of studying, of no excuses, of choosing to fail with the Lord rather than to stand with your little mindset. As we continue in this channel, I'll be telling you a lot of my faith trials with the Lord, the things that the Lord have helped me to know, the faith trials I have gotten with the Lord because I have refused. I have refused to put myself in the box. So, if you are the person that, if you're listening to me today and you're a single mother, you're a Christian divorcee, or maybe you know somebody, I want you to tell them this truth, and I'm telling you the truth. Single motherhood is not a disability. It is not your identity. It is not an excuse to live a small and a beggarly life. Your children are not a barrier. They are your reason to do more. They should be your motivating passion. Your pain is not your end. It should be used to give you more drive to do more. So if today spoke to you, you enjoyed what I did, I want you to subscribe. I want you to share this with a Christian lady that is a divorcee or a single mom. I want you to share this video. I want you to subscribe so that you get, and of course put your notification. I'll be sending out videos every week on different topics. So what are we talking about in the next episode? The next episode will be talking about how to deal with sexual desires and urge as a single mother or a Christian divorcee, because this sex talks is important. So all through the remaining part of this month, we'll be diving about sex drive, how to walk in purity, how to handle the sex urges, what are the practical steps I have taken, and of course I'm going to share my own story with you. So next time, put in your notification so that you are up to date with what we are doing. Remember, your pain is not you. It doesn't define you. The word of the Lord is your definition, is your identity, and he says you are a child of the Lord. You're the daughter of a king. You're the daughter of the owner of the universe. Don't allow society label you when the Lord have never labeled you a single mother. Refuse to answer that name. I'm not a single mother. I'm a mother, mothering well within the capacity and radar that the Lord has given to me. I release the blessings of the Lord upon you right now in the name of Jesus. I pray that the wisdom of the Lord to do the right thing and the grace of the Lord that will enable you to take the right steps come upon you even as you listen to me through your screen, and that every pressing challenges, the Lord will give you wisdom and direction to know what to do today, right now, and grace to take steps and execute them will come upon you in the name of Jesus. I release the help of the Lord to help you. The Bible says, and our children will be taught of the Lord, that the Lord will come in fully as a father in your home and put order in your life and in the life of your children. It is well with you. I celebrate you. I am happy to have you on this channel. Please, if this any of things I talked blessed you, please comment. And of course, if there's any new topic you would like us to talk about, definitely send me an email. My email is in the caption. I'm going to in the description box, and we're going to talk about it. And Jesus' name will be blessed. Bye.